Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives, or any other combination of business partnerships. As well as speaking with other couples, we will let you know of any useful business apps or websites out there that we've discovered to help you with your business.
So we're your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. We host online and face-to-face events and we'd love to meet you, so why not come along? The link to book is in the show notes. Today's guests are Amy and Chris Hall, and they are the co-founders of Littlebig Creative. They are a specialised marketing and design studio dedicated to assisting small and medium-sized businesses. Through their personalised approach, they analyse every aspect of your business, including branding, website, social media content and email communications. So, without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. Okay, so welcome to In Business Talks 2, and today we have with us Amy and Chris Hall. They are the co-founders of Littlebig Creative. So welcome along to the podcast.
Welcome, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Good to see you both today.
You're welcome. We met you at one of our networking events, didn't we? So it was good to see you both there.
Yeah, managed to capture you before you could get away. Once you admitted you were married in a couple, that was it. You were signed up. There you go.
Signed up for the podcast.
You can't get away from us that easily.
Yeah, no, you're very fast. Yeah.
So, before we start, can we just find out a little bit about what you guys do? Can you tell us what you do?
Yeah, so we are a creative marketing and design studio who specialise in supporting SMEs. So we offer a very kind of personal one-to-one service to our clients where it's just Chris and I. You don't kind of get delegated to anybody. We've got sort of 20 years of experience together and we look at everything our client does. So from branding, their website, their social media, their email marketing, and we kind of look at how these align with what you stand for. So we'll look at your mission, your vision, your values, your ideal client, and basically get to know everything there is to know about you and your brand and where you want to be.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
How you came to be in business together?
Yeah, so we used to work, before we went out with each other, we used to work together. That's how we met in London. We worked for a company called Pentland Brands and we sat side by side for many years. So, and then obviously we're now married and we both have our own sort of specialties. So Chris is a graphic designer and I specialise in marketing. So I think it came about really in just pre-lockdown. I was freelancing for a brand. They'd had an agency do a logo for them and it had gone completely pear-shaped. And I said, well, could me and my husband have a go at it for you? Because that's our kind of skill set. And it was a big success. And I think we've always sort of been really underwhelmed by agencies and the level of support that they give. That's through being employment hiring agencies and both from working within an agency. And we thought we could do a much better job of this and earn really good money. So we thought, why don't we do it? And come lockdown, I kind of lost a lot of my work because of COVID.
Yeah.
We set up Littlebig Creative and we've been going ever since.
Amy mentioned there that before we started going out with each other, I just thought that makes us sound really young, doesn't it? It's sort of, what you say when you're about 16, not when you're sort of well into your 30s.
Oh, you don't look well into your 30s, guys. You don't look really young.
We'll pay you to say that, though, of course. Yeah. No, I just echo what Amy said. Yeah, it was. We've both worked in various jobs, and they've obviously had their good points as well. But I think what we really wanted to do was take sort of a bit of control into our own hands in terms of working for ourselves. That was from a personal level, and then from a professional level, it was about helping brands sort of be successful with our skill sets without have them having to go through agencies that might not work out for them, or freelancers perhaps that didn't care enough or didn't get the brief, didn't ask as many questions as we ask, and we just wanted to give them that value for money, where they could have a service that would offer them everything they wanted to get out of that, and not, as I said, not be charged through the nose, or not have to redo the work with another agency because it didn't go well the first time around.
Yeah.
So we sort of try and pride ourselves on making sure that we are as helpful as possible to these smaller businesses and provide them with as much value for money as we can possibly give them. We're sort of very conscious of that, aren't we? We don't want to sort of we sort of structure our prices around trying to make sure that they are getting the most that they can get out of it.
Value for money, basically.
Value for money, and making sure that it's fair on both ourselves as a business and on them as a business as well. We're quite keen to really stamp that point out, and we try and be very transparent, don't we, with our
I think we can be quite prude as a culture about money, but we're really transparent and really upfront, and there's no hidden costs. It's all very clear from the outset what you're going to get for your investment.
Because marketing can be a bit like that, can't it? We've had sort of quotes for doing Facebook ads and stuff. Well, it's this much for this, and but it depends on how much engagement and this. And
we can't guarantee and think, I'm just spending this money. You're thinking, you can't guarantee what, just one. Somebody's going to connect with us once. I know it's difficult, isn't it? Something like that, but it just puts you off a bit, I think, doesn't it?
Sometimes? It's not like, because you're not getting quite often you're not getting a physical product at the end of it. It's you're getting something that can be a bit wishy-washy. So we try and talk any clients that we have through the process and get their buy-in at every level, and make sure that they're going to be they're almost happy with the outcome before they've received the outcome. That's what we try and do. Take them on that journey all the way through, and hopefully they're happy with what we give them.
You mentioned, Chris, that while we were speaking just before we got chatting on here, that you were sort of still working in a job until recently. And so my question is, did you have any sleepless nights thinking, I'm giving up a full-time job here which brings in a regular income, and now I'm throwing my lot in with Amy, and this is going to be it? What was your emotion about that? Was it an easy decision or not?
Well, I wouldn't say sleepless nights. It's sleepless weeks. But no, it was. Yeah, it was a really difficult decision, especially we've got a little boy together as well. So just all the sort of costs, and obviously the cost of living crisis as well. It's all all these things sort of cross through your mind, and it was quite a difficult decision to make. It was one that we were thinking about for quite a long time, isn't it? We were sort of thinking, when should we go for it? How much money do we need from our business to make sure that we can cross that line into becoming fully self-employed? And got to the point where we just thought, what, if we're not going to, we've almost got to bite the bullet and just and take that leap of faith. And we were sort of saying to each other, weren't we, before we did it, if it doesn't work out, then at least we've given it a go.
Yeah.
And that was for us to make sure. We didn't want to have, it's one of those sort of cliches that you don't want to have regrets at the end of your life. But we sort of talked our way into it through that, and thought to ourselves, well, if we don't try it now, when are we going to try it? And if it doesn't work out, at least we've given it a go.
So, yeah.
Do you know what? That you'll probably find that you've got time to pick your little boy up from school, go to his school concerts. You'll be able to do all that, and that is priceless. It's not, if you've got a full-time job and they're reluctant to let you have time off. That is the benefits that you will see as well as.
It's the flexibility, isn't it? I think it's working field gives you flexibility, doesn't it? You can do what you want, really, can't you?
That was always the goal, I think. Especially, you knew we were going to have a family. I think we wanted to have that kind of work-life balance, like work less hours, but you do earn more money when you work for yourself. It's no way around that. I think we juggle everything together, don't we? And like you say, we're there for the drop off and the pick up, and if it's poorly, we can be flexible and have the day off. Or last week we went to Essex to visit my family, and that's when it's all worth it, isn't it? When you're self-employed and you can do those things that you just never could when you're employed.
Yeah, no, it gives you that freedom, doesn't it? Freedom's valuable, isn't it? Really.
There's always in the back of your mind, like, oh, should I do more work now so I can take some time off later? I'm still sort of finding it, because I'm so new to this and being fully self-employed, that I'm still finding it quite difficult to
relax about it.
When you also think, and I feel like we've talked about money a lot, but I suppose it's on the forefront of your mind when you're self-employed, isn't it? Because you think, well, if I don't work now, I don't get holiday pay anymore. So I don't know if should I be doing this now so I can take some time off later. And it's always that balance, isn't it? Thinking, well, when will the business dry up? And will I waste an opportunity to make sure that we're a bit more comfortable going on? But I know Amy, you've been self-employed a lot longer than me, so you've sort of got used to that a little bit more, haven't you? And you can sort of relax about that and just flow a bit more. Whereas I'm a bit more like, don't know.
Have you got a shared vision for the business? Is it something you both agreed on from the start, or was it more Amy's vision? How's it?
Where do you want to end up, basically? What is your vision for the business? Where do you want to be an agency or just the two of you, a lifestyle business?
I'll say what I think.
Yeah.
We definitely do talk about it, and I think we want to be more of a kind of small independent. I think that's always been deliberate in our decision making. There's no plans to have this massive kind of agency, because I think we'll end up back where they are. They charge absolutely crazy prices because they have all these overheads, huge amount of staff. I think this is about supporting small independents like ourselves, having a steady stream of clients like we do, and just having work-life balance that we enjoy. That's kind of the goal. And if we can maintain that and continue to work with we come across so many amazing brands, and the plethora of people we work with, the different industries, it's crazy. Like, we never would have had that opportunity in employment. So I think we can keep going the way that we are, and we've achieved so much. Like we said, so much. We've had a lot of stresses in the last 3 years. We've done some of the biggest things you can do, like move a house, have a baby, and we've still managed to make it a success. So I'm quite positive about the future of it.
Yeah, I thought we were going to turn it into a multinational company.
And you've given up your job now, Chris. Oh dear.
No, I like it as the way it is, because we both, because we're so invested, obviously, because it's our business, we're so invested in the company that we work really hard at it. And I think if you never say never, but introducing, if you ever were lucky enough to be able to employ other staff and had sort of the capabilities to do that, at the moment that feels quite like a big step for us. And I don't know if that's something that we particularly want to do at the moment. Not that we could anyway at the moment, but if it ever became viable in the future, it opens up a lot more opportunities perhaps, but it closes some doors as well in terms of what you can do. So never say never, but yeah, at the moment we're just pleased that we've managed to do it, and sort of quite proud of ourselves that we've managed to set something up like this and are able to work for ourselves. It still sometimes feels like we're about to be found out, doesn't it? It feels like
you live in the dream. I think if anyone was offered the chance to work for themselves, I just think everybody would do it. It's not for the faint-hearted at all.
No, definitely not.
When you think, is it something over half or 60% of small businesses fail in the first 3 years? It's hard.
It is.
Like, I'm sure you're the same. You sacrifice a lot, but the rewards I just wouldn't change it. It's the freedom and to do something that you absolutely love is priceless. I don't have that Sunday dread. I never, I'm excited about the week. About you, but
I've got to go back to work and sit next to that woman again.
And what about sort of your roles within the business then? Do you have different roles within the business? Because we find often with couples that some take on the more admin roles and look after the finance and stuff, and the other does like the marketing and the sales. How is it with you guys? How does that dynamic work?
I think we have the obvious sort of distinction in that you did the design, obviously I do the marketing side of stuff, but I think we're pretty fair really, and we're really good at communicating. I think we have quite regular sort of chats to be like, right, what's the plan this week? And I keep a spreadsheet. I'm very organised with I'm sure everybody does who have their own business, but I do like the expenses and keep tabs on everything like that. And I think what I really enjoy is we sort of blur the line slightly with our roles as well, because I wouldn't say, I write the copy and then I give you and you just get on with the design. I think we both have that kind of experience and that creativity, that we work very closely on everything, the look and feel of your branding, the copy, the tone of voice. You actually used to be in marketing, didn't you, Chris? So you've got that commercial awareness as well when you're designing.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite rare that we can sort of cross over in each other's worlds, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, I would say you are. I mean, you should see the notes that we've taken before we've spoken to you guys. Endless notes of paper, and I have got nothing. That's how I am as a person. It's you're always, and I remember when we had our job in London. Our manager at the time was desperate to try and get me to use a notepad, wasn't she?
Yeah, oh my God, you did. You drove her mad,
I drove her mad because I wouldn't use a notepad.
She bought you something.
She bought me a notepad and a pen. I thought, but to me, I'm better at, and you probably sound a bit forgetful sometimes, but I think I'm quite. I find it really useful just to have it in my head, and I do write things down occasionally, but nowhere near as much as you do. So you probably do a bit more of the admin side of it.
Yeah.
And I just probably irritate you.
You just wing it.
Sounds a bit like me. It sounds a bit like our relationship there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I
think because you're so organised, Amy, that I sort of just expect it to be taken care of, which probably isn't the best thing. But I am trying to be a bit better with that, and I think as time goes by. Especially as we work, as I work for ourselves more, and it's the primary focus. I think I will get better at that, and I want to get better at that. So it's something that I will.
I like doing it, so I'm happy to carry on with that side of things. Yeah, we just keep talking to each other, and that's how we get stuff done. Really.
Yeah.
So, do you think that being in business has strengthened your relationship or changed it in any way?
Yeah. What's it like working together full time now? Is what's happened there? Come on, Amy. Yeah, to think about that one.
I think we've got better actually in working together, because I think we probably trust each other more now as well to take on our own individual roles. We know what each other's responsibilities are. We also have to factor in childcare, so we quite regularly have to chat about what's going on this week, who's doing what. We're very equal, and I think I feel so fortunate with that, to be in that position, so that it doesn't all fall on one person's shoulders. And I think it's communication. Don't get me wrong. It's taken a lot to get to this point, hasn't it? But I think we are very good at sort of listening to each other. And if someone's got a bigger, heavier workload than the other, which can happen, that other person sort of steps up. So I think it has probably strengthened our relationship. A lot of people say to me, "How do you work with?"
Yeah, we did that.
But I love it. I wouldn't. It's not we don't live in each other's pockets. Sometimes I work downstairs for a bit of. But yeah, I think you just find what works for you.
Yeah, I'd echo that. I think that, as you said, it comes with its challenges, doesn't it? But it's strengthened as time has gone by. When I know we've only done it like full time for a little while now, but within that time, we've seen that the trust element is certainly stronger in terms of, you need to get on with this, I need to get on with that, and we just trust each other to do the jobs. And then I agree with you. I'm a huge advocate of working parents, and especially working mothers. I think that we should do all we can to help mothers that work, because the burden quite often does fall on them. And I'm only one man in a relationship, but I try to do what I can and help you out whenever I can, and make sure that it is as equal as possible.
Business can be a bit, you mentioned it, a bit stressful sometimes, can't it? And you can have moments when you're up and down. When you have your down moments, if one of you's down, does the other sort of like encourage you and try and lift you in some way? What do you do? How do you get around something? Because sometimes you just go and work downstairs. You just get out of each other's way. I mean, what is it that you do to try to lift? Do you try and lift each other or whatever if someone gets a bit fed up?
Yeah, we had one of those moments this week, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we do, and we try and give each other space. I think sometimes it's really easy to sort of try and fix it, because you panic and you think, I want that other person to feel okay. But I think we've learned that you've got to give each other a little bit of space. You might be having a bit of a down day. Maybe do something else. Maybe take yourself away and do something fun, or that's not work related, because you can get so bogged down in it, and when it is your business, you're so focused and you want it to work that it feels so much heavier than a decision you'd make when you're employed, because you can leave and shut the door. But I think sometimes it's making sure you've work-life balance. We quite regularly go for a little work lunch together once a week, just fun and light-hearted, to take out what can be stressful situations. But yeah, again, I think it's just, we've worked together so long, even pre this. I think we've sort of learned to give each other that space that you need.
Do you always agree?
Work-wise, yeah, I think we do. On a project, is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not just saying that. I think that's why I love working with you. I feel like we actually do. We might say, I think that would be better, or tweak that. But I always, or if I have a brief or an image in my mind of a design, I'm always like, yes, that's it. Like
you are very encouraging of me like that. Yeah, I would say
we're on the same wavelength. Honestly, we are. Obviously, we have life disagreements all the time. But there's something weird with us. I feel like I've never ever seen something you've produced and gone, whoa, we haven't nailed it. Honestly.
Having said that, though, I would say that you will sometimes say, maybe we could try this or that, and as much as it hurts my feelings deeply, and I never recover from. No, it does help, because you start to trust that person more as well. So if you say to me, I think maybe try this or that, or I'm not quite sure about that, your sort of ego and pride might be slightly dented for a moment, but you look past that, and then you think, well, this is a person that has got equal footing in the business, cares about as I do, and is saying something. You try something else and it works, and you think, right, trust comes back in, doesn't it? You start to trust that person more, because they're not going to just say yes and try and protect your feelings, even though they're your spouse. You sort of take that out of it, and you sort of have that professional head on. I think that's really a positive way to work.
Yeah, you can be more honest with each other. It's not like working in a business where if you're like two strangers, two work colleagues, sometimes you're a bit reluctant to say something, or aren't you? It's different, isn't it? When you can be honest with each other, say, "Well, I'm not so keen on that." What do you? Isn't it easy? I like you say, it does hurt you. I get hurt often. It does hurt you, but but it's done with the best intentions. That's the thing, isn't it? It's done with the right intention. It's not. There's nothing behind that. So what's the best thing about being in business together then, guys?
Go on, Chris, you can say.
I would say that it's just that part of you're sort of controlling that part of your life a bit more, and it's the freedom that comes with it. It's the passion that you have for the work that you're doing, and the fact that because you're not sort of being briefed in by someone sort of a superior, and you're just doing some work and then sending it back. You're actually part of a project, that you feel a bit more part of a project, and because it's your reputation and your company, you feel more responsible for that, and that might be seen as pressure filled or negative perhaps in some by some people, but I really like that. I really like that sort of influence that you have, and everything sort of riding on things that you're doing for that particular business. So that to me is the real benefit of it all.
Yeah, I'd say, I just like basically what we were just talking about. I think it's when a project comes together and you've both had your kind of input and it comes off, and you just think like, wow, we've done that. Quite often for new businesses, it's always really exciting when they're like, can you come up with our name? Can you do the branding, the visual language? And then that's out there, and we've done all of that with them, and it just feels quite exciting to know that we're helping other people do something that they love as well. I feel so sad when people say they hate what they do or they don't like work, because it's such a big part of your life, and to be able to do something you love with your partner and carve out a life that's suited to us and our little boy that's always been my ambition. So yeah, it's just really exciting.
And to see, as you said there, actually seeing your work, because we've done a couple of branding projects, haven't we, for local businesses, and seeing your work actually that you sort of were designing on screen and copywriting and coming up with the name with, to see that in situation and
Yeah,
see
it's such a
signs and
buzz.
stuff.
Yeah. So we've done that. Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
So it's just sort of, you feel proud. You sort of have a sense of pride, don't you?
Yeah.
It does look nice, and we helped come up with that. So when my dad took my uncle on a tour, didn't he? Of
all your branding projects.
That was quite nice.
Quite sweet.
Yeah, that was quite sweet.
Have you got a standout moment though? Have you got one particular business that you've helped so far that's really made a difference to them? Is there anything that you can think of?
What's a major high that you've had?
That's a good question. Mainly getting some of these new businesses off the ground, and just coming up with the whole branding for them, the look and feel, and that's now out there, and they can start their business. When you've got all of that, that's when it feels real, because it can be really daunting when you start a business for the first time. I think that's been a real pleasure to be able to do that. And any brands that we've kind of helped rebrand and just get them back into a place where what they're putting out there is actually valuable and going to contribute to their business, I think that's when you feel sort of really proud of your work.
I think when we've had some clients come back to us and say, even if it's just on a piece of branding work or on a website we've done for them, when they've said, "Oh, you've nailed that, that's exactly what I had in my head, but I just couldn't picture it." That kind of feedback is almost sweeter than any kind of monetary value, isn't it? Because especially for me, I really like that feeling of having helped someone in that way. And that sort of is the best feeling. That sounds a bit too sickly sweet, doesn't it?
No, that is. I mean, it is when you help people. It is a nice feeling. It means a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, it's like when we're networking. If you've helped someone with their networking and they've met someone else through you, it's we did that. They wouldn't have met if it hadn't been for us. But we know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it is a good feeling. Yeah.
My brother's a paramedic, and he can obviously help people in that part of life, which is, some would argue, is more important. I suppose that from my profession, if I can help someone to improve their business by, we help someone by 5% times or whatever.
Yeah.
As long as we've helped them and given them that value, then that's what's really important.
Do you find yourself talking about the business in your downtime as well? Or do you have to say, right, 5 o'clock, we're going to switch off. That's it. It's the weekend starts now. It's Friday, 5 o'clock. No more talking about the business until Monday morning. Or do you tend to talk about it all the time? Is it a constant?
Yeah, I think we talk about it on and off. An idea might come to you and you start there watching a film together and you think, oh, yes, we should do that. But I think the only rule, the major rule, is we don't really talk about stuff in front of our son. When we're with him, we kind of keep it off limits. But we find ourselves, we could be out, or we've been out for dinner before, and that's actually where we came up with a new brand name for a client. We've done it.
Inspiration. Yeah.
Any moment.
We were sort of relaxed, just having dinner, and then it just bang.
We were a couple of Peronis down, weren't we?
The best work when you've had 2 Peronis.
When we sobered up, let's see if this is still a good idea.
Still works.
Right, I've got my favourite question now, guys, and I'm going to Amy. I'm going to ask you it first, Amy. So you get to go first. So, Amy, what is Chris's most annoying habit at work? Notice I said at work there. We don't have any fallouts. What is Chris's most annoying habit at work?
Yes, Amy, what was it?
Be honest, come on.
Sometimes I think in the middle of the day when he's probably been just really concentrating on something, and then he'll break away, and I'm like, I could be on a copywriting job, which I really need to concentrate on, and he'll just start singing or get his guitar out, or it's just so loud, or make up a random song, and you're like, oh,
hang on.
I'd say that's quite annoying.
But a random song is just a silly random, not a serious one. You make me sound like
silly. You make some silly song. I think and it's
I am quite irritating like that. I would agree with that. I am. And it's basically because I just want some attention.
And how about you, Chris? Come on, you get to turn the tables here, Chris. What's Amy's most annoying habit at work?
No, she's perfect. She doesn't really like my songs that I come up with. I'm trying to think. I think don't know.
Go on, don't hold back.
No. I just think that perhaps maybe it's because I'm annoying you at that point, but you can get yourself very focused in on something and
serious,
very serious about stuff. Yeah, which is probably the opposite. It's obviously the opposite. It's just that's your way of dealing. That's your way of dealing with high stress and high workload, whereas mine is to try and break away from it and distract myself from it almost, because it's when I'm doing that kind of stuff, I'm thinking about work and thinking, oh God, I've got so much to do, and I've become so overwhelmed that I end up just being silly.
That's a man thing.
I think we're getting better at that, because we've spoken about that, haven't we? And we've said, I try and be more respect. Like if you're in a very sort of serious mode, I try and be a bit more respectful of that, and not sort of.
You can go and annoy the dog.
Instead. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's. But as I said, it's just part of. I don't really think of it in terms of what's the most irritating habit. It's par for the course, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
And to be fair, that makes me laugh when he does that anyway.
Because if you're being quite serious and I'm quite silly, you might sort of crack and break a little bit and become a bit more silly. Whereas if I'm being really silly and you want to concentrate, I think to myself, oh, fair enough. Yeah, it's time to get back.
Back off.
Time to get serious.
I think I know the answer to this question, but if you could do it all again, if you sort of went back 3 years, would you do it all again?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything at all.
No, I wouldn't change the outcome, but I think, and
Would
you
deal with things
it's easy to say in
differently.
hindsight, isn't it? But would we have gone for it a bit sooner? I suppose the pandemic said, and
I
having a
thought the
baby.
pandemic really helped us make that decision. I think we'd
It spurred you on.
Yeah, we'd have put obstacles in the way or gone, it's easy to be in a job and we've got a steady income, but that really forced us into making a decision. I didn't have any work anyway, so it was a great chance to sort of set the groundwork for this business, and without all the other pressures that come with it, we had almost a year to get it going really before.
I think when we were all working from home as well, just cutting out that travel time to and from work meant that, in your lunch breaks at the end of a day, you could focus on your own things again. Sometimes in the day, but not often would we focus on which focus thing. But it was, I think that really helped because we got a bit of time back, and because that you couldn't do anything in the evenings or anything like that. And I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't the pandemic brilliant, because it absolutely wasn't.
No, it was awful. But
in terms of what it allowed us to do from a professional point of view, it sort of
made the most of it.
It kicked us off. Yeah.
And what advice would you give then to maybe a couple starting in business? Have you got any advice you'd give them to spur them on? If they, say another young married couple, what tips would you give them?
God, I could think of loads on that one. I feel like I'd definitely test the waters and make sure before you do anything, because it's expensive. Setting up a business, creating your own website, your branding, we've even got a PO box we pay for every year. We've got a phone line that we pay. There's so many costs. Before you do anything, like we had the opportunity to test the ground with that project. It wasn't officially Littlebig Creative when we did that logo for the local brand, and it worked. And that gave us that. Yeah, we do like working together, and it has been a success. So I think you can test the waters on something that you're both interested in and want to do with your family, or do it as a favour for someone and see if you like it before you invest. I'd say that's really important. What else would you say?
I'd say if they need any marketing or design support, they could get in contact with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think also just accept that you're going to get things wrong and mistakes will happen, and you can't really warn against certain things. You've just got to sort of, as a business and in life in general, you've just got to sort of live these things, don't you, to understand how things are going to work and how to improve your business and everything like that. So don't be scared for going for it, and
take a risk.
And even though it's easier said than done, try not to worry about mistakes along the way, and if you can learn from them and spin them in a positive way, do that.
Yeah, so how you learn, isn't it?
From the mistakes. Cool, excellent. And if people do want to get in touch with you guys and use your services, what's the best way to do that?
So we are on Instagram. We're little_big_creative, and we have our website littlebigcreative.co.uk. And there's other ways to reach us on, via phone and email as well. So you can find us there.
Okay, cool. What we'll do, we'll put all that in the show notes as well. So if people didn't quite catch that, we'll be all in the show notes so they can get in touch with you if they'd like to use your services.
Thanks. It's been lovely talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for your time, guys. Really nice chatting to you.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. And now we come to our knowledge share of the week. So what do we have this week to share, Tracy?
The knowledge share we have this week is called Wordmark, and Wordmark helps you to choose fonts by quickly displaying your text with your font, and it helps you to choose fonts for all your creative projects.
Excellent. Sounds like a good share.
It is. So we'll put the details in the show notes. Let us know if you try it and what you think.
So thank you for tuning into today's episode. We hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. We'd love to see you at one of our networking events. Be sure to check out our website for upcoming events. If you'd like to learn more about networking, why not take a look at our networking know-how courses designed to help you improve your networking skills.
We also have a series of books available on Amazon, such as How to Improve Your Business Networking Skills. It's 52 tips to help you with your networking. Our Notably Networking one-to-one notebook, it's a place to keep all your notes from those follow-up one-to-ones, and not forgetting our 90 Days to Your Success journal, where you can plan, set and plot the actions that you will take to achieve your goals.
We hope you'll join us again next time, and don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening, we really appreciate it, and until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together we are in business.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.